Defenders story, our Where's the Money story, a franchise that we've been doing for quite some time now. And Alex, you have a story that's going to be on our late newscast after the football game tonight, and it's a follow-up. It's a great follow-up. We do a lot of these stories, and a lot of them have, problems solved, but this is one that really tugged at the heartstrings, a follow-up too.
Yeah, definitely, Fred. Good to see you. And yeah, this, like you said, I mean, a lot of times we're coming on here and we're talking about people struggling and there's no light at the end of the tunnel and they're just looking for any answers. We have actually a really positive development in one of the stories we told you about a few weeks ago. You may remember the name Sheila Banner. We actually highlighted her because even among all the people who are struggling, her story really stuck out because of how much she's been going through. We said she was going through the perfect storm of pandemic problems, really. This is a single mom who had lost her job, then waited weeks for benefits. Then she said she was evicted with her 2 children. And on top of that, she never got her stimulus check that so many people have gotten. She called the IRS, she said, and she told us when she called them, the reason she hadn't gotten her stimulus check was because she was the victim of identity theft. So you can imagine everything she was going through. Well, many of you might have seen that story. One of the people who saw this story ended up being, after the football game, was an executive at Streetside Classics, which is a classic car shop in Concord. And he felt for Sheila, and it really tugged at his heartstrings, everything she was going through. So he took it upon himself, after seeing what she was going through, to reach out to her on Facebook, ask for her address, and ultimately his company, Streetside Classics, ended up sending her a check to match the stimulus that she never received. We're talking over $2,000.
Wow.
So really just an amazing and a positive development on so many levels, not only because this is a woman who's now getting help, but in this time when we're dealing with a pandemic and constantly this feeling of down and down, for someone to step up like that and give us something positive to look at, and just kind of a role model in a way for how others can be.
And the thing I like about this, Alex, is this business it sounds like they are kind of, reaping what they're sowing, or you could say they are, getting back what they're putting into this, because, a lot of businesses, because of everything that's happened with the pandemic and this economy, business is slower than it would be for normal, normally. And for this business in particular, you were saying that this business is actually doing pretty well.
Exactly. That's a great point, Fred. One of the reasons the executive wanted to do this is because he said they've done unexpectedly well, this classic car shop in Concord. He doesn't really know the reason for that, but they've had record sales on some items, and he realized, hey, I'm doing really well with my business. This woman is suffering. She's struggling. She's a single mom. Like, I want to pass along some of my good fortune and what my company has reaped from the sales and help out someone else. There's so many who's struggling. So he said that was the reason behind why he reached out to Sheila, because he knew he could afford to do it with some of how they've been benefiting during a time when so many others haven't. So decided to reach out to her. And at first she told me she actually didn't believe it. She said, it's too good to be true. And
sounds like it.
you can't blame her with, everything she's been through this year, like she's thought, she lost her job. She's waited weeks for benefits. She thought she was going to get her stimulus check. That didn't end up happening. Wow. So at first she was like, she thought it was like maybe he's trying to get her to buy a classic car or something like that. But ended up, she sent her address. She had a check. She went to the bank. She cashed it. It was more than $2,000. So really a great story, a great update. And the executive, just getting back to your point about his company doing well, he said a lot of people out there say, we have to all be a community during COVID. We have to help each other out and this and that. He said, well, it's one thing to talk about that, but he thinks people really need to step up and take action. And he thought, he didn't want to talk about it. He wanted to actually do something that could help others. And that's why he decided to do that.
And the thing, I think, one of the cool things that we're going to see in this story, and I see a comment here from Salvatore says, good for her. Yeah, we're happy for Sheila for sure. Because it is a rarity, for someone to give that kind of money in a situation like that. Ashley says, how thoughtful, and the fact that this interview isn't with the owner standing in front of his lot says even more about his intentions. such a precious gift. It's good to see these kinds of things happening. But I guess the cool thing about this is, like we said, a happy outcome for this woman, because Alex, you've done so many stories where people have waited for the state to respond, let alone somebody else to step in and say, hey, we want to help you.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's so many people. That's the whole reason we're doing these, is to highlight people's stories and to show their struggles and hope for positive results. And we have had some really positive results where, we've done a story and days later, the state actually says, hey, we're going to reverse our decision. We denied this person. Now we're going to actually give them their benefits because we determine they deserve them. But yeah, there are a lot of others who struggle. And even this is different to me, even than those where the state turns around and makes a decision, because this is just some private citizen, someone from the community who is coming up and saying, you know what, the government hasn't come through for this woman. She's had her struggles in the private sector too, obviously being evicted, and I'm going to go ahead and step up and help her as a private citizen. So that's actually new to me, because even when we have had success stories, a lot of them are the government maybe turning around and helping people, which is great for those people. But this is, heartwarming in its own way, because you got the private citizen coming up and feeling for someone else going through something. But just to remind people, this is why we do this, and we want to get stories out there. So we do the Where's the Money stories. You can reach out to me at ashabad@WCNC.com. If you have any stories, you can go to my Facebook page, Alex Shabad, my work Facebook or Twitter, and kind of email us. We also, if you're wondering what the process is like, WCNC.com/money, we have all these questions, your frequently asked questions, so to speak, may be answered there. So we highly encourage you to take a look at that as well. But yeah, just a really heartwarming story, different than the others we've done on the Where's the Money, where we always kind of reach out to the state and try to let them know about people's struggles, bring it out to the community. Here's a case where, someone just felt for someone else out in the community by watching our story and came through for them.
Absolutely. And I am Mary Elaine says, this is so amazing. And Lisa Reynolds says, that's a blessing in his heart. It sure is. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what she does, specifically how this is a blessing for her and her family. You're going to have that in the story. Again, the story airing tonight after the football game on our air, our Where's the Money series, showing, in this case, a follow-up that's going to be a blessing to a mother and her family. Again, tonight on WCNC Charlotte after the football game. Alex, thank you. Looking forward to seeing your story, man. Good job.
Thank you so much, Fred. Appreciate it. And good talking to you as always. We'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.